sights to see, rolling hills or city streets, ocean to ocean and all in between. It's out there just waiting on you and me. Take it in, we got no plans. Good things come to those who can. Live moment to moment and all in between. It's out there just waiting on you and me. So look alive, 'cause while I was waiting for you, paradise is on the other side of the road. We don't know, taking a long way. You and I were born to roll.
Okay, props on the theme music.
I can't believe you played that on a F.U.M. Friday.
What?
I loved it. I was boogieing.
It is. It's great. It's a great song. It's one of my favorite songs. It's a beautiful song. You get you all fired up, and you do it on a F.U.M. Friday.
Well, yeah, I had to. Because we rotate. We do one song, and then we do Gia's song, and then we do another song, then we go back to Gia's song, and then there's a whole pattern we do.
Yeah, and you forget to mention my song, which is the best song of them all.
Your song is only on Mondays. But tomorrow night, we're going to do Where My Baddie's At for Gia. Because Gia loves her baddies.
I do.
I know she does. I know she does.
I love baddies.
She is baddie.
I am baddie.
Yeah.
She says, yo, 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 where my baddies at?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yep.
So good afternoon,
you
evening, whatever.
You do realize in her retirement community that is the generic version of Depends, right, baddies?
Yep. Yep.
That is Born to Roam, and let me look up the name of the...
Yeah, they play it in the clubhouse all the time. In wheelchair dances.
Yeah.
Walker wheelchair dances.
So amuse yourselves for a minute while I look up this music.
Don't make fun of me.
Today was a... Let's see, that was Tommy Welton, Born to Roam.
Yep.
Tommy, W-E-L-T-O-N.
And if you have Apple Music, it's on Apple Music. So.
Ooh. Yes, I know it's on somewhere because we got a copyright hit once. 45 days we couldn't play the song because someone wanted the 6 cents that we made on that broadcast. So, yeah. 6 cents. Yep. Copyright hit for 6 cents. That just yes. We won that one, so that's why we're playing them again.
Because they didn't have the copyright.
Yeah, or whoever was messing around again. To update, the last limited was cleared up. One thing I'm noticing is that now that we are past, it started after 4,000, but especially now that we're at 5,000, they react quickly when we request a review on limited status. And I think we have a good enough reputation now after almost a year where we don't put on stuff that's going to get taken off the air. We do push the line from time to time, but not anything more than network TV.
You do. You do. G and I do not.
No, that last one could have been from you and Grape. Yes, your multiple
that was,
instances of Grape.
I slipped. Okay, excuse me.
Your multiple instances. So
what?
So
what?
Let's. Yes, about graping someone.
I said the hard. I said the hard R. I said the hard R.
Oh.
Yes, he said this hard R.
I thought it was about my muffin, but okay.
No, your muffin was good.
Not that.
Your
not
muffin.
That, yeah. It
your
is
muffin
not
tops the chart.
Stale and old.
At least it's not a dusty muffin, Gia.
Yeah.
It is a dusty muffin.
It's dusty.
What the hell did I come back to?
Are you done peeing yet? We were waiting for you. Or was it a number 2?
I mean, I walked in on a discussion of cat penises, so
yeah.
That wasn't me. No, that was Gia.
Sure.
Before
you invited me. Starts. Get what you get.
So let's go into the.
Word to the wise, Judy. If you ever plan on inviting Gia, word to the wise.
Word to the wise. Word to your brother. That's right.
Word.
Yo. Where my baddies at?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not in the 90s anymore, folks.
Where my baddies at?
Back it up a little more.
That's right. Where my baddies at?
Back that truck up. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm looking for all the baddies all over the world.
There we go. Get that stuck in your keister. That's right.
Yeah.
Yo. Oh, good Lord. So, we had a cluster earlier. That's right. Lane Myers in cluster. A cluster truck.
Are we surprised by that? No. Or...
Well, let's get to what it started with. He was supposed to be arraigned for the second set of charges he's facing. The second set of charges. Now, he's already had a no bond hearing on the second set of charges because in Arizona, explain it, Phil.
According to DirectD, in Arizona, if you are on a felony bond and you pick up a felony charge, it is an automatic no bond hold.
So,
Parsons, the second set is what he got arrested for in court.
Okay. The first set of charges were violation of the protection order. They were 7 felonies and 7 misdemeanor charges. He was released.
Say it right.
He was released on bond and told, don't do a bunch of stuff. He went out and did a bunch of stuff. He got 3 new felony charges and 3 new misdemeanors. Under Arizona law, they bring you in for that, and you get an immediate no bond hearing, which basically, since you've picked up new felonies, he was, before he was even arraigned, he was ordered held with no bond. So he ain't getting out anytime soon. Now, this disrupted things because for that first set of charges, he hadn't had a bond hearing yet. When that happened, as Judy was there to see, he was given a token bond, basically so he would get credit for time served. Right. That happened last Friday. Today, in the most roundabout thing ever, he was supposed to be arraigned for the second set of charges, knowing that there's no chance of him getting out. It was just a procedural thing where he could basically, he's arraigned. Now they can go forward with combining the two cases. A plea deal can come out and they can go forward, yada, yada, yada. Well, that didn't happen, or at least as far as we can tell, that didn't happen. There's a couple things that happened today. Let me just bring this up. This apparently has nothing at all to do with anything. So let me find it. Lane Meyer's appeal. Lane is appealing something. As you can see, everything is blank except for it's in municipal court, which is different than criminal. It's different, right, Judy, than the criminal court sees it.
There's a superior court, which is in front of Judge Metcalf. That's the hearings that I've been attending. Municipal court is city court, like where Mr. Walker is employed.
Okay. He is appealing something in city court. There's literally no details on it other than it was filed today. It was assigned to a representative of the city prosecutor's office, and there's a judge. We know nothing more. This happened was released right before the court. Right before he was scheduled to be arraigned today.
Well, that have to be some sort of misdemeanor city ordinance violation.
It could even have been the original. What if it's the original protective order?
Could be.
It could be anything at this point.
Because if it's an appeal, then that's something that he filed, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Wait a minute. Could he be pulling a Jeremy DeWitt right now?
Probably.
Okay. When DeWitt was first busted in Seminole County, he was already out on bond. So they revoked his bond. But then when Orange County brought him in for charges they got on him there, he tried to get a bond. He got a bond, but because he was already on a no bond hold in Seminole County, it was void. He thought he was going to get out because of that. So
he might be. Well, see, there is some sense to that because hold on, let me pull it up. The statute says, and it's in the current. Gia, your audio's not connected yet, so I can't add you back to stage. He's citing Rules of Procedure 7.4C. And this is in the paper today. This is also over. We just released this on the YouTube channel right before we went on to air. Rules of Procedure 7.4C state, C, later review of conditions. 1. Generally, on motion or on its own, a court may re-examine bail eligibility or the conditions of release if the case is transferred to a different court, if a motion alleges the existence of material facts not previously presented to the court or the defendant is unable to post bond due to the defendant's financial condition. The court may hold oral argument or evidentiary hearings. 2. Motion requirement and hearing. The court may modify the conditions of release only after giving the parties an opportunity to respond to the proposed modification.
I might know what this is.
Okay, let me just say
finish what you got.
Eligibility for bail. If the motion is by the state and involves a defendant previously held eligible for bail at the initial appearance, it need not allege new material facts. The court must hold a hearing on record as soon as practicable, but no later than 7 days after the motion's filing. What you
All
got,
right,
Judy?
so Tuesday, they talked about Myers having to get arraigned on the second set of charges to combine the cases at the Superior Court level.
Right.
If this is in city, municipal court, this might be that motion to say, hey, we're going to bump this one up to Superior Court so we can combine.
Okay.
That might be what it is. Maybe.
Just a correction here. What I just read was not from the appeal, it was from the motion, and the motion was in Superior Court. So there are two things.
That's where Ms. Stiles would have filed it.
Yep.
Yeah. And this was filed by Myers. It wasn't filed by... As far as I can tell, this was filed by Myers in Superior Court. Sorry, having a brain fart here.
In Superior Municipal.
The motion was filed in Superior. The appeal was filed in
Municipal.
The motion was filed in Superior. The appeal was filed in Municipal.
I am happy to say that I have no such experience with this at all. So it may very well be that that's just how the rules of it is. And that's how they're maneuvering to get everything kind of combined. Because from what it sounded like, it would take jumping through a couple hoops to get everything pulled together into one cohesive case in order to meet Myers' request for a speedy trial. It sounded like there would be some hoops to jump through. It might be that, maybe.
There is also a distinct possibility that Lane doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And just
Well,
simply
Really
filed it
try
in
to
the wrong
hire
court.
Amir. I mean, if Amir could get Jimmy off with all the shenanigans he's pulled, I think he could do anything.
Okay, let me pull this up again.
Parvin does not strike me as an Amir, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not an Amir.
Yeah.
Parvin
He
didn't
needs
know
him.
how to get Lane Myers' glasses to Lane Myers.
Amir is a slime attorney for slime, and he knows what he's doing. And I think
Well, it
the only
also helped-
connection they had was the Muslim church.
That and the fact that, there was a lot of shadiness with Jared
Yep,
at Metro
yep.
State with the politicians there.
Yep.
Ooh,
Stupid.
interesting. There is now a new document.
Oh, let's see.
Not available yet. Let me pull this up from over here. Screen. Okay, it's teeny. I can barely see it myself, so give me a second.
I'm biggin'.
Okay, can you read that?
It's still bigger than my mankini. Just pointing that out.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay, the first one is motion for rehearing on bail pursuant to Rule 7.4C. That's the one we've been talking about. Second, attorney, arraignment order and order reappointment of attorney. Arraignment order and appointment, yada yada. So that's looking maybe to get Parvin reappointed?
There was that was like a big question for a lot of last week's hearing and some of this week's was, but am I on that case or is it that case? And Parvin was not sure exactly how those would work together because Myers still wanted to be pro se.
Right.
However, he is not pro se for everything.
Right.
No,
At
he
least
has
not yet.
the second set of charges. He is not pro se. They have not had the hearing yet. They did have a hearing to make him pro se for the first set of charges.
Now, could this be what I talked about last week, where he's going to try to argue to get a different lawyer for ineffectiveness of counsel, seeing as Harmon doesn't know what the hell he's doing?
Harvin.
He seemed, at least on Tuesday, he seemed to be getting along pretty well with Parvin. And again, different man than who I saw last week. My very uneducated guess is that the meth is leaving his system completely, allegedly, apparent. I mean, I have nothing to base that on, but just witnessing the difference in his body language and ability to control himself. He even on last week, he didn't seem that mad at Parvin, unable to work with him. He was just unable to contain his own body last week. This week he was working with Parvin, and that Parvin was talking about spending almost the entire day Monday with him at the jail, working through stuff. It sounds like, at least at the beginning of the week, they had a decent working relationship. We'll see. I mean, that is a standard tack that you can take. Is my attorney messed up?
Right.
That's a standard tack that a lot of inmates will take. Of course, you can't take that if you're pro se, but if you're not pro se, well, see, he's only an advisory council though.
Yeah, well, that's on the first set of charges. He was appointed.
We'll see what, because Lane was talking about going pro se with Parvin as advisory for the second set too. We'll see what happens.
Did you watch Patrick Darcy or no?
I haven't watched Patrick Darcy yet.
Okay, yeah. He thinks Lane's screwed.
Yeah.
Most people do.
If you look at, honestly, if you look at what Lane is facing and everything leading up to these court cases, he shot himself in the foot. He has no legal room to argue a legitimate case here.
Right.
When you're under oath and you agree that you did the elements of the crime, you may feel that the statute is unfair, but currently that's the statute. And if you admit under oath, yeah, I did that, there's not much wiggle room for anybody then.
Right. And that's what Merb had been saying, but Merb is changing his tune because he's Merb. Merb doesn't want to see Lane go to jail for anything. All of a sudden.
Oh.
All of a sudden, because he's Merb.
Okay.
Yeah, you know Merb.
Well, if he doesn't want Lane to go to jail for anything, he should have told Lane to stop doing what he was doing.
Well, Merb only got on the case recently.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, if he doesn't want him to go to jail, he should have told him not to do what he was doing.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's like that old Ron White joke. If you got a dog and it's killing chickens and you leave it in the chicken coop and you tell it to kill chickens and it still kills the chickens, it's on you.
Right. Well,
it's the old dad joke, you know. I went to the doctor. I said, "Doctor, it hurts when I do this." Doctor said, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
Cooper, make up your mind. Get away from the microphone. You hear him meowing, that's going to be Cooper.
Uh-huh.
As she's trying to figure out how to knock the heavy microphone off the desk.
Cooper just wants to know if gravity is still in effect.
Cooper.
Good Lord. So, Mr. Lane Myers. On a scale to 1 to screwed, let's go around the panel. What do you think he is? 1 to screwed.
Rude.
Keep going in random order here, folks.
Heavy deck screwed.
Yes. Cat penis screwed.
Oh, good Lord.
And a muffin. And a stale muffin.
And a stale muffin screwed.
No Vaseline by
Yep.
Ice Cube screwed.
Yep.
Oh, dang.
Dang.
See, and I thought following the cat penis was going to be hard. Okay. However descriptively you want to say it. Yeah, I don't think he has given himself any wiggle room. I think the prosecutor has him dead to rights, and he admitted the elements of the crime in court. So yeah, I think he's screwed.
Now let's get to possible time, because me and NCR had a discussion of this earlier. NCR, if you don't mind, how much time do you think he's going to get out of this from what we were discussing?
Well, if you look at all the charges put together and the sentencing guidelines for him, if he was to get the max, he's looking at possibly somewhere between 30 and 40 on the max. But if you look at it realistically, if he does take some form of plea deal, he could get 5 years prison, 5 years suspended parole. But if it does go to trial and they do show some mercy, he could be looking at 10 to 15.
Now, do you think there's ever going to be a scenario where he's found guilty, or he takes a plea deal, no prison time whatsoever?
Oh, God, no. Because if they do give him a plea deal, they'll end up probably dropping the misdemeanor charges. And they will hold him on the felonies. And they will try to reduce the felonies to go consecutively. So more than likely, if he does get a plea deal, he's going to get jail time, and like you said, a hefty fine. And he might get a suspended sentence of the remainder of the time used as parole. I don't see him getting out of this without some form of incarceration.
So he's not going to be out next Thursday as he thinks he's going to be.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God.
Oh, and also remember, today at 4 o'clock local time was that or else. Remember, all charges had to be dropped.
Or else.
And he had to be a free man, or else. Remember that.
Maybe that's his filing.
I hate to break this to you, but President Trump did not show up to pardon him or whatever else he said. It didn't happen.
You mean the QAnon shaman didn't appear?
Mr. Jacob also did not show up, to my knowledge.
Gosh darn it.
At least there was no guy wearing a buffalo skin hat. No.
With coyote tails down the back.
Yeah.
This is a classy guy.
Yeah.
That's what we were waiting for. That's literally what we were waiting for. And
when you have a victim and their family showing up in court as often as this victim has, I'm not going to say they have rights of first refusal with the sentence, but Arizona does tend to like to get the buy-in of the victim if at all possible.
Oh, of course. Of course. She said that. She said she's got to talk to her. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think she'll be happy with only probation and it's like a suspended sentence. I got the feeling that would not be her first choice.
No.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
could be completely wrong on that one. That's that. But
no, she's been threatened and emailed and phone. Yeah. All his minions. Yeah, I wouldn't. Who he directed to do things, I would not just let him off on something because he's going to do it again. Somebody under his direction is going to do it again.
Especially over nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. His rank speculation that she had something to do with his wife being fired.
Yep.
And meanwhile, over on the This Is a Public Service channel, Josh Gray is still going after the prosecutor.
Gotta be in his bonnet, huh?
Yeah, he's still... Why don't you get Lane access to the law library that they haven't had for 2 years instead of being upset that we're going to use your face in T-shirts for fundraising?
Because
He
he has no control over it.
That's
an issue with the jail.
Well, they're worried more about Styles listening in on the calls than anything else. And they're trying to get this poor reporter who does, the exposés at the ABC affiliate. They're trying to spam him to get interest from him because he exposed a different prosecutor from another county 2 years ago. And they think because this lady 2 years ago lost her law license and was fired for prosecuting protesters back in 2020 as members of a gang and unfairly classifying them as that it's the same thing as what Styles did to Myers.
Wait a minute. Are they talking about the Maricopa County?
I believe so, yes. What's her name? Oh my
gosh.
Stossel or something.
Okay, so here's a little inside baseball of Arizona. We have Phoenix, metropolitan area, and we have not Phoenix in Arizona.
Right.
Not that we get our noses out of joint, but we tend to get our noses out of joint.
Right.
Tucson is the largest outside of Phoenix. So they have a lot of stuff going up in Phoenix that we do not have going on down here in Tucson. We didn't have Joe Arpaio. We didn't have a lot. I mean, the Phoenix police got the whole FBI treatment, and like the FBI was like, dude, you've got to change your ways. We do not have that down here. So good luck with that. We have our hard-hitting expose reporters down here. We have not had to go after anyone in the court system that I am aware of.
Well, they're under the false impression that Lane has a First Amendment right to do what he did. So they're maintaining all of this under a First Amendment freedom of speech, which it doesn't. And they have a misconception that because this lady works for the University of Arizona, and the University of Arizona gets taxpayer money, therefore she's paid by taxpayers and therefore is open to all this other stuff.
She works in the development office.
Nonsense. Right. It's all nonsense.
She's a fundraiser in the development office.
Right. But
Jim,
even if she were, she's not a public official, right? She has no state power to do anything.
Bill, hold on a sec. What? NCR?
I'm looking up the sentencing guidelines for these charges here that Lane's facing. Now, a normal felony harassment charge would get you an 18-month prison sentence. However, as it states, if the alleged harassment causes the victim to experience fear, you may be charged with stalking, which is one of his charges. Mm-hmm. And this predatorial behavior is much more serious than the standard harassment and is a felony and can carry upwards to a 3.5-year sentence per charge. So how many of the felony stalking and harassment charges he has is like, what, 6 of them?
Well, he has one stalking and it's an F3. The rest are aggravated harassment, which puts them into a class similar above their rank. Their rank is 5 right now. But from what I remember reading the guidelines for those, if it's aggravated, it essentially doubles what you get for a class 5 felony.
So he's got, what, 5 of those? So,
well, he's got He's got harassment. He has, oh God, harassment. He has, I think it's 7 of those. Hold on, let me look. Let's see. He's got aggravated harassment, 2 counts of those on this set. And those are felonies. He's got stalking, which is a felony. So those are 3 of the felonies. Let's go over to the other set. So he had 2 aggravated harassment. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he has 8 counts of aggravated harassment. 2 counts of stalking, essentially. One's an F3 and one's an F5. And then the rest are generic harassment charges, the M1s.
And how many of the N1s does he have?
He has 10.
Good night.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got 20 charges total.
Okay,
Just
so
like Turtle Boy. Oh no, he's got 21.
So
there's 20 here. He has 20 total charges. He has
Just
7 of the harassment M1s, but then the other 3 are interference with judicial proceeding, intimidation, threat, harass, electronic communications, 2 charges of that.
So more than Turtle Boy.
So if you just take the 7 N1s and the 2 stalking and harassing that are at the felony level, you add that time up, that's 17 years right there for just those 9 charges.
If they were to be run consecutively, which probably they won't.
I doubt they'd be running consecutively, but just to get a baseline of the sentencing that you could be facing.
Yeah,
because the M1s are all standard harassment. They're 1-year sentences in jail. So if you would add those 7 with the 3.5 year sentences he's facing, you got 17.5 years right. You got 17 years right there. Factor in everything else, you could be pushing close to 20.
I really hope he does plea, because if he were to take this to trial, an angry jury could really put him away for a while.
And this is what, hey, Serial, this is what first-time auditors, cop watchers, whatever, tend to get. You know, we've seen them push it to the point where they fuck around and find out. And this is the find out. He's finding out right now that he can't do what he did. Craig Hendry found out, and he still has 3 more cases to go by the end of the year. Push it to a certain point.
Jason Dollarhide.
Yeah, Jason Dollarhide, but Jason Dollarhide assaulted a cop too.
Yep.
So he got 2. He got 2 15-year sentences for assaulting a cop. So I don't know if they're concurrent or consecutive, but it's 15 years, so who really cares?
Yeah, plus
he might be out in 7.
Plus, Lane in court is going to be an absolute spectacle. The jury's going to be like, what the hell?
This is what's leaning towards me thinking that if he does get any sentencing and they go for the minimum, he's looking at 10 to 15. Now, if he gets a plea deal, he's going to have to serve some prison time. And I can see them giving him 5, now with the new information we have, 5 to 6 in prison, and then the rest be suspended to go with his parole. But I highly doubt he would. If he got the max, it would be a surprise. I honestly think more than likely it's somewhere between 10 to 15.
And oh God, think the wife's gonna stick around?
Oh hell no. Well, wait a minute. The outside wife or the inside wife?
His girlfriend / wife / whatever the hell she is.
No.
So the
But if you find
outside
somebody
wife.
on the inside, who knows?
Good Lord.
Yes, I think she will because she's been putting up with this behavior this long.
And if your chat from earlier was correct, she's now starting to have discussions online with other videos. So she has, if that's really her, she may be finding her voice online, which would be interesting.
Yep.
Could she put her job at risk with the state, though? Since she is working on behalf of the state right now again.
People are making weird decisions with this case. Who knows?
Yep.
And the other thing is, okay, so she's a public official. She's being paid by the government every week or whatever. What happens if somebody does this to her?
Well, that's different because he's already said that's that's a no-go.
Okay.
She's off limits.
So she's
well
off
then,
limits.
okay.
Yeah, because it affects him.
So everybody else is wrong,
Right.
but he's right.
Yep. Just ask him.
Okay, then.
So it's okay to go after everybody else, but not him.
Right.
Right.
Right, because no one goes after his wife.
Right. So he doesn't think he thinks what he did isn't wrong. It's First Amendment. But because he's being charged with it, if you go after his wife, then she can claim the same thing on you.
And Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's an attorney, yes?
She's an attorney for a nonprofit, yes.
So one would think she would know about courtroom attire?
Yeah, she would. Yes.
Yeah.
What was she dressed as?
Jeans and a ratty t-shirt. She had to be reminded to take off her hat when she entered the courtroom. And this is, here I'm going to sound like a snob. I will own that. But when you go to court, in my book, you dress up a little bit. Because it's court.
Yeah, but her husband wears a red, white, and blue bow tie.
At least it was a bow tie.
That he bought at the dollar store.
At least it was a bow tie. I'll give him that. It was ridiculous, but at least it was a bow tie.
A condescending tactic of his ridiculous behavior.
Well, there is a method to the madness, actually. There is a method to the madness when it comes to the attire. I know a lot of people probably are going to reflect this, but the show Adam Ruins Everything, they actually went over courtroom attire and how it plays for the defense. They tell them, to if they have reading glasses, to wear the glasses throughout the trial to show more of an innocence or like they're not an aggressive person. Look at them; they wear glasses. They're kind of nerdy. They tell them to wear particular colors because it shows you're more of a docile person. They tell them to wear a blue suit or a blue shirt and a red tie or a white tie because it shows like you're a patriot. But the flag tie is just tacky.
Yes, Lisa, it's okay to go after DirectD's family, but not his.
Including the children.
Now, that's something else. DirectD's been saying that his wife may still go after Lane, file charges for the doxing, because Lane literally doxed. The property is in the wife's name, not in DirectD's name.
Right.
He literally doxed and continued to dox for 8 hours on this. This is something that Lane literally did.
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't two individuals actually show up to the property?
I don't know. I don't think they did. I think Clash with Bao never made it there.
Because I could have sworn two people did show up, and Christopher Roth did tell them to get off the property, or the grandmother told them to get off the property, or the wife told somebody in that family told them to get off the property.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
And they got pictures. They got pictures of her out in public.
I could have sworn that's something that was said.
Yep.
If I am wrong, I apologize, but it's something I believe.
Right. I know that I heard the grandma thing where they went to the grandma's property and got pictures of her, but I don't know enough about that.
That's what I think it was. That's what I think it was. My apologies.
Yeah.
And mind you, Mr. Ruff lives up in Apache County, which is the far northeast corner of the state.
Yep.
Pima County is down almost to the Mexico border, more central. If she files in Apache County, then Mr. Ruff is going to have some long van rides for that case.
Oh no, Mr. Myers.
Excuse me, Mr. Myers. Yes.
Mr. Myers, yeah. And as Ruff put it, yeah, Apache County people disappear all the time and no one gives a shit because you'll never find them.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I kind of wish he were, but he's not. We got a lot of open desert in the state.
Right.
And a lot of coyotes.
Everglades.
Yeah, it's a dried out version of the Everglades. Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a friend, and I forget where she lived, but I was reading a ghost, the Ghosts of the Southwest book, back when I could actually read books before my allergies took those away from me, because of all the dust. And I was reading this story to myself about Native American builders sometimes put little things inside of houses they know for white people.
Yeah.
Little trinkets and stuff. And randomly, like a month after reading the book, my friend was like, "That's it. This house is horrible." I'm like, "What's going on?" Every time she left, and mind you, she's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, has blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids, and her husband is also Nordic looking, or her ex-husband. Every time she took she isn't now, no, but they did divorce quickly. But every time she left the house, she'd come back and the TV would be on, all the doors were locked, all the fans would have shut off. The AC shuts off, but the TV came on, and anything loud in the house would be playing. Every time she left, even if she left for like 5 minutes to go down the road, as soon as that house was emptied, all the fans would go off, AC would go off, but everything loud would go on. And I jokingly said, "Well, hey, go into your crawl space and look for pottery." And wouldn't you know it, she found it. And she got in touch with the local group, and they came and they took the pottery out of there, and it ended what was going on for some reason. But I'm not a big believer in the supernatural, but I do know when she was calling me frantically going, "What the hell is going on? Can you hear this?" And you could hear the TV blaring. It's like she was at the end of her rope when I told her, check the crawl space. Because, Arizona is a wacky place.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to the
Judy was a humming.
Just clearing my throat.
Yes, Judy. Clear it further. Tell me what you got.
It's a great state. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a little wacky, but still.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Well, Arizona is a very unique state when it comes to the supernatural. There's a lot of different ley lines and a lot of different unexplained phenomena. A lot of it's rooted back in
beautiful area.
And
it's beautiful.
Yeah, my dad lived in
violent
Scottsdale.
History too.
Yeah.
I mean, the last battle of the Confederate War was out here, like not far from me. And there's a long history well before the U.S. as well. So we got a lot of folks that have met their maker here, and I don't pretend to know everything of what happens, but there certainly are old towns around where people are like, just make sure you clear out by sunset, please.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, Pennsylvania has some of that, and I'll just tell a quick story. My mom, remember the first Gettysburg movie, early 90s? It was a big deal.
Matthew Broderick?
I believe so.
And Denzel Washington, young Denzel Washington.
Glory.
Yes.
Okay,
that was Glory.
Well, this one, I believe it was called Gettysburg. It was shot on the battlefield, and my mom was a long-distance operator back when they had those things. And she, for some reason, every night they would get the director. And the director was telling her, okay, we're doing the head counts now because all the extras camped out on the battlefield each night because they needed that footage. And they would do head counts. And, specific people in specific spots, they'd do the same head counts in the morning. Well, in the morning, where they had sometimes 100 extras, there were no extras. There were no cars. There were no signs of fires. The ground was cold. But then those extras would be back the next night in the same spot. And the director...
That sounds spooky.
Yeah, the director was just a little freaked out by that, Or they would... some of the extras would come in from town, and so there were trucks arranged. You'd just get in the back of the pickup bed, and they'd take you back into town. And more than one occasion where they were taking people back into town, those people, and mind you, they're in full gear. They're dressed up in their cosplay or whatever you call it. People would just disappear from the back of the truck. You'd have 8 people, and you'd end up at the destination with 2. Because after a certain point, they would just...
Thank you, but no.
Did the movie star Martin Sheen?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, that's what I think.
1993's Gettysburg.
Yeah, that's
Not
what I believe so.
Not to be confused with the 1989 Glory, starring Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I believe it was 93 because we were up in that area. See, we lived in Dillsburg, which was about an hour away from Gettysburg. It was, direct shot down 15. You just kept going down and you'd find it. And I'm tired and I just said something awful.
Clip it.
Oh, good Lord. Well, folks, I think we're all getting slap happy if we're talking about supernatural and all that.
And if we get limited, it's all Jim's fault.
Yeah, says the man who made us limited last time.
Okay, well, that was last time, not this time.
Well,
hey, Parson,
Go ahead.
Tombstone is still like that's a rockin' place still. So that's a fun place to visit, and not far away from Bisbee, a mining town that has all kinds of haunted tours. So yeah, Arizona. And Lisa, I'm sure you would fit right in with all the ghosties. I'm sure you would.
Yes.
Treat them with respect, they'll leave you alone.
And since I'll probably never get to tell this story again, my friend Evil James. Yes, I have a friend named Evil James. And it must be telling how evil he is if he's the evil one compared to me. Yes. But my friend Evil James was in Arizona back a little after that Amy's Baking Company thing
Oh
on
my gosh.
Gordon
Love that train
Ramsay.
wreck. Love that train wreck.
Okay. So for 3 days they're in Arizona, and for 3 days they're about half an hour on the map from Amy's Baking Company. And for 3 days, the GPS, which is fine going everywhere else, will not let them go there. In fact, on the 3rd day, the damn thing overheated and caught on fire. And this is back when your rental car, you had to rent the GPS separately and plug it in and all that.
The Garmin.
Oh,
the damn
my
thing
goodness.
set on fire and would not let them go. So Arizona is a wacky place. That's
Where's
right.
I think
That's
Ohio
what
could
we
give them. I think Ohio could give them a run for their money with what we have when it comes to the supernatural and paranormal.
And good night, Gia. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Night, Gia.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Night, Gia.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we have frogmen.
Yeah, well, we've got 3-toed Bigfoot, 4-toed Bigfoot, 5-toed Bigfoot, and 6-toed Bigfoot that have spaceships. So there.
I've got
So
grassmen, Bigfoots, Sam Squanches, frogmen, aliens, astronauts, and the wild signal.
Well, there you go.
And y'all think Arizona is wacky. Come on, people.
That's right.
The Loveland frogmen are real. And we also got melon heads.
Melonheads. Wasn't that a band?
No,
The lemon
that's
heads.
Smashing Melon.
Oh,
The Melvilles, and then Lemonheads.
okay. I'm getting punchy here. So let's wrap it up and let's go around panel. First, thank you to the lovely Judy for being with us yet again.
Not a problem. My pleasure.
Yeah, we're glad you weren't just sitting there randomly in an empty courtroom.
Yeah, that might have been bad.
Yeah. Thank you to Miss Touche for being here too.
You're welcome.
NCR, you got off easy tonight because this was technically, well, it was always a Parson night, but technically it's the last night for 8 more shows where we could marry you off.
I saw a real cutie pie in an airport that was sure she
Ooh.
didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have fallen in love.
Yeah. Just like the lady in pink last night that you said no to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you could have seen all of her goods right there, Floyd Wallace style.
All of her pinkness. Yep.
Yes. And you said no.
I stand by my choices.
And finally, Pope Phil, the bastard.
Away with you Satanists and your talk of evil spirits.
So from all of us to all of you, have a wonderful evening. We'll be back with you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, where we will be finding true love for either Parson or Mark the Sarcastic Law Pug if he's awake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We've got some wonderful women lined up for these people since we
Yo.
cannot punish NCR for 8 more days. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Be generous to your waitress. We had to put up with you.